Open up the Water Sewer Commissioners meeting. It's May 10th at 7:30, and we're going to be discussing the rate increase. So, I'm going to go to you, Bob.
All right, so I mean, it's difficult to print all these pages for you guys if you wanted to see what these results would be. So, I mean, if you look at Doug's rates here, he proposed quite an increase to get us to where we should be. I think overall he came up with like a 49% or 42% increase or something.
Water was 49%, sewer was 45%.
Yeah.
So, I just, I think I've preached all along that the single tier rate is just not right. Same as same with the meter sizes. We should have a different base fee for each meter size. When we do a meter replacement program, I mean, like we had somebody on Glen Street want to put in a 2-inch service, which there was no need for a 2-inch service there whatsoever. It's for a single-family house. But they went ahead and put it in anyway. That's what they wanted to do. But you don't have anything to discourage that. So connection fees, I think, should vary based on the size of the pipe going in. The meter charge needs to be based on the meter going in. And the base fee, this freaking computer's bouncing all over the place. I don't know what's going on. The base fee needs to be based on the size of the meter. So that base fee is bringing in revenue. And, meters based on DEP's recommendation should be replaced every 10 years. We bought meters that essentially are supposed to go 20 years. So that helps a little, but if we have to replace all the meters every 10 years, and a 1-inch meter costs us $125, and a 3/4 inch meter costs $125, and a 1-inch costs $185, you have nothing to account for that. I mean, if I told you I'll sell you a 1970 Hemi Cuda for $10,000, or I'll sell you a 2006 Toyota Camry for $10,000, which one do you want? I mean, if you're going to pay the same, you're going to get whatever the better one is, or the more expensive for the same price. And that's not a problem when it's brand new, because we charge them when we first put it in. But after that, we pay to replace it. So you're charging someone the lower rate, and then when we have to go replace it later, we're paying the high fee. So there should be something in there, and if somebody wants a 1-inch meter because they're just stuck on wanting a 1-inch meter when they only need a 3/4 inch meter, then that fee should be higher. First for the meter, and then annually for the cost of that base fee, because that's how you generate your money to do some of these things, like do the meter replacement program. We're taking that money that we're earning to pay for that. But if you're taking in the same amount for a 3/4 as you are a 1-inch, you're not covering what you need to replace all these 1-inch meters. So I think, my computer's going all buggy on me. So I would change to start with, I would change, and Doug started to do that here in his program. I don't know what's going on with my computer.
So on Doug's meter revenue, so he has the 5/8 and 5/8 by 3/4 semi-annual charge $50, and 3/4 meter charge $75. Is that proposed?
That's what he's proposing, yeah. I'm guessing. He didn't even say that. I would almost throw his crap away. But.
No, but it gives us something to bounce off.
Right. So,
go with.
And I don't know how he came up with his numbers. I mean, they're just arbitrary numbers, a 5/8 by 3/4 and a 3/4, or 5/8 and a 5/8 by 3/4 he's saying $50. But a 5/8 by 3/4, the 5/8 by 3/4 is actually a 3/4 inch meter. It's a 5/8 lay length with a 3/4 inch meter.
Yeah.
So he's got it backwards. If anything, it should be the 5/8, and then the next one should be 5/8 by 3/4 and 3/4, because those are the same meters,
Yeah.
just a smaller lay length.
So what you think, is that,
I gotta shut my computer down and restart it.
the way that you're understanding what he put there is that's proposed then?
Yeah. So this is what he would propose. And he's showing what the annual revenue off of that would be, but he doesn't show you what the current annual revenue is off of that base fee.
Yeah, on this particular, yeah.
Right, so I'll do the math for you quick.
Because right now you said it's $50 for everything, right?
Right, so currently it's $115,900 based on that fee.
Yeah.
You know, our current fees would generate, based on the numbers he's got here for number of meters and all that crap, comes up to $115,900. And he's saying with his new structure, it would generate $193,200. So that gives you another $77,300 in revenue. I don't know what's going on with my computer.
And so for his for those charges, do you think those are comparable with what?
Well, these are, my concern is that he kind of threw arbitrary numbers out. I mean, what did he justify? It wasn't like 3/4 to 1 inch, 1 inch is a 1/4 inch bigger, so you add a 1/4 onto the 75, because that'd be 100, not 125. And if you did it based on, see, it looks like my computer's dying, I don't know what's going on. If you did it based on like volume capacity, these numbers are all off, so I did mine based on volume capacity. But you got to decide on what you want to stick with. So we don't really have any 5/8 meters. We might have two just because we haven't been able to change them yet.
Yeah, and he's saying we got 527 of them?
Well, he's saying 5/8 and 5/8 by 3/4. And
Oh, I see.
the majority of our meters are 5/8 by 3/4, which is actually a 3/4 inch meter with a 5/8 lay length. We can't change our budget now, but we might need the budget for another computer.
So in other words, we should just get rid of that 5/8 by 5/8 by 3/4 and just put those 527 and add the 302.
In with the 302, that's what I did in my
Yeah.
sheet that I did.
I think that's what we should change, right?
Yeah, like I said, that's what I have in my proposal. So yeah, you add those two together.
829.
All right, so if you based it on volume capacities, so I took out, so up to 3/4 inch, so I've got 829 meters. That's, like I said, up to 3/4, so I included 5/8, 5/8 by 3/4, and 3/4.
All right.
So we got 829 meters. If you did $75 semi-annual charge, that bring in a semi-annual revenue of $62,175 and an annual of $124,350. So that brings in an additional $41,450 a year. So then if you did it based on, like I said, capacity of the pipe, if you do the cross-sectional area of those in square inches, so a 1-inch meter would come up to 133.20. An 1.5-inch meter would come up to 299.83. A 2-inch meter would be 533.14. 3-inch meter would be $1199.49.
That's quite a difference there.
Yeah, but like I said, well, I don't know what he's at, so 3-inch.
3 inches only at 400. No, 800 rather.
800.
Yeah, he's at 800. But like I said, he's coming up with an arbitrary number. I mean, where did he come up with the 800 for a 4-inch? Like I said, if you do the math, capacity-wise, it's at 1,199. And then a 4-inch would be 2132.92.
Say that again for 4-inch?
We don't have any meters anywhere near that size, do we?
No, we don't have anything over 3-inch.
No, I
Yeah,
was
we've
gonna
got
say.
4-inch.
We got 4
Oh,
inch?
no, 4 3-inch.
Oh, 4 3-inch, yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying that you guys are looking at some possible bigger consumers coming in.
Yeah.
So what's the number for 4-inch?
So 4-inch is 2132.92. 6-inch would be 4796.95. And 8-inch would be 8529.98. So I just did it up to those just to, because I can't see anything having bigger than an 8-inch.
Sorry, 8529.
8529.98. So like I said, I did those numbers based on the cross-sectional area of the pipes, so it gives you the square inches, so that's how much volume you could get through it. Like I said, I just did something so that you guys would have something to go by and something that you could mathematically stand behind. Like these, I mean, where's your justification for those numbers you're
Yeah.
coming up with? So based on, let's see, so he says annual revenue would be 193,200, and based on my numbers, it's 230,924.66. So about 30, almost 38,000 difference. So that comes to the point of, do you want to decrease from, see, he kept those 527 meters at $50. So what would you want to have up to 3/4 inch be?
I mean, the cost of it?
Yeah, currently we're at $50.
We're
So
at
I
50.
can change this number, and I think I have my spreadsheet set up to automatically change all the other numbers, so I can tell you, by changing that base one, that's the one that's gonna set the standard, is up to the 3/4 inch.
So if you go with if you go with leaving up to 3/4 at 50,
That'll generate an annual revenue of 153,949.77.
and right now we're at 124?
115,9.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're at 115.9 right now. And if we left the same, up to 3/4 at $50 and then did the increase from there.
So the increases from there, it's going to change all your numbers now.
Right.
You want me to tell you what those are?
No, just tell me what the final number would be.
So the final number for an annual revenue would be 153,949.77. And that brings an additional $38,049.77.4.
It sounds good to me. That way the homeowner is not gonna get whacked.
The regular homeowners,
Well, some of the regular homeowners, a lot of them are on 1-inch meters, which they don't need, but
yeah,
Oh,
so that would make the 1-inch charge be $88.80. That's going to be almost all your, that's,
the majority.
yeah, you've got
Yeah.
26 meters that are outside of those.
Yeah.
So between those two, those are your big numbers that you'd be
all
looking
right.
at. So 50 and 88.80.
That's the majority of the cost.
Yeah.
And then it would go up from there.
That's what
But right
it-
now, for the 3-inch meter, anybody on a 3-inch meter right now is still only paying $50.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So the 3-inch meter would go up to $799.66 based on percentage-wise. I don't know if you guys want to round off and get these to even numbers or what, but,
Well, yeah, might as well.
well, you say that, but what's the justification behind it?
Yeah, we could
know what I
use real
mean?
numbers, I mean, it
If we
doesn't.
use real numbers, we have a base for it,
and we're
All
gonna
right.
and I
pay.
have a
Yeah.
calculation that shows the reasoning behind why you go to those numbers.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. So we all set on that one then?
I am. Like I said, whatever you guys decide, I can show you what it comes out to and what you bring in for revenue based on those numbers.
Now, sewer, so the sewer-based charge is also just $50.
Currently, yep.
So would we do the same increase?
Now, that gets a little trickier,
Because you've got,
because you really only have one size sewer pipe coming out, essentially.
Right, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So you're not saying you got a different size sewer, you don't have a greater capacity, it's just really the usage that you're increasing.
yeah.
Sewer, obviously, we've always known sewer costs a lot more. So if you think about theoretically how you set up rates, in theory, your base fee should cover all your overhead. If we didn't produce any water, your base fees should cover your overhead, so that if no customers used any water, you'd still be able to pay to have whatever we need to have going, just to have water available. So sewer, theoretically, costs a lot more. So there should be a higher sewer base fee than a water base fee, in theory. Why they set them the same, I don't know. Why Doug came up with that, because I think at one point we had sewer was like 40 and water was 25 or something like
Yeah,
that.
because we have less sewer customers than water customers. What is it,
Correct.
Right.
800 and some odd?
Like 850 or so. We'll use 850 for a round number.
Okay. So should that just stay at 50?
Well, like I said, in my opinion, sewer base fee should be higher than water base fee.
Yeah.
So I would find something in between. Whether you go with the 1-inch fee as opposed to the 3/4-inch fee.
Because it looks like he left it. Did he leave it the same?
Let's see, he left-
He
Yeah, he left the base charge the same. But again, you're not covering your overhead with your base fee.
Right.
And you're relying a lot on your usage.
Yeah.
Right.
So
We should go up on our base fee then.
I think you should. Like I said, I mean, you know, one of the things that drives me crazy, and I wish Colin was here, because, you know, Colin always says, oh, you know, we make money on water, but sewer's a losing battle, it costs more than we make. If that's factual, then we're doing it wrong because we're setting the rates.
Yeah.
If your cost for sewer is X, you need to set your rates based on those costs to get
Right.
you that number. So if you're losing money on sewer and making money on water, you need to lower your water rates and raise your sewer rates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're setting the rates, so they should come out right. So if sewer's a losing battle, then you need to raise your sewer to account for that.
Right.
So again, I think it's disproportional if your water base rate is the same as your sewer base rate. The sewer base rate should be higher, we have less customers and way more expense.
What did you find when you had surveyed those other couple towns,
For,
that
Well, I-
sewer base?
I mostly did the water, the sewer is not as readily available, but, and the sewer is really, you know, water is fairly straightforward. You know, you pump it out of the ground, you add chemical, you send it out to the customers, you got a storage tank typically.
Right.
Or they got a booster station and they're not. Half of your towns, their sewer, like Dudley goes directly to Webster. They don't have a treatment plant,
Yeah.
so it's just, we pay to send it to you.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Millbury goes right to the treatment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody
Millbury goes
right
up to
to Worcester.
Blackstone.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of them that either don't have treatment plants, they send them somewhere else, or depending on the type of treatment plant you have and industry you have, you know, so sewer, you really just got to base on what your costs are and what you need to bring in for revenue to treat. Because you're not comparing apples to apples across 90% of it. I mean, Upper Blackstone, with their sheer volume, and they're running an old conventional system, as opposed to us, we're running a more modern SBR. It's a smaller footprint, a little more efficient, but they also have a lot more stringent limits. They've got, you know, air scrubbers they got to add. You know, they've got all kinds of processes that they have to add because of the stuff they're doing and the volumes.
Right.
You can't get to where we are. I mean, we could bring the cost down a little, but then you end up driving by and you'll smell like Upper Blackstone, which just adds a bunch more headaches for us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we don't need that.
I mean, all those bigger plants, they try to run their DO right at 0.5, which is like the break point limit. You know, below that, it goes septic and dies, so they're running it right at that limit, where we run ours a little higher, so we don't have those odor issues.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. We don't need that.
So I mean, a 30% increase on that would be, bring it to $65.
65?
Yeah. So,
That'll bring it up to 65, you said?
So it's then, so it's an additional $12,750 essentially.
Per year.
Actually, that's,
Or is that,
so times that by 2. So 25,500. So we went with leave the up to 3/4 at 50? I'm just trying to get my.
yeah, on the water side.
Yeah.
Up to 3/4, leave it 50.
Right, 38. Maybe some 38,000. then for the sewer,
Wish I had my calculator in my hand, it working like that.
now, so if we get into the rates.
They don't need this scrap paper, because I'm gonna start using it.
All right, so I don't know if you guys wanted to come over here and look, or if you just want to kind of talk through like we just did.
Well, let's talk first, and then when we get completely confused, we'll come look over your shoulder.
Right.
All right, so steps. So fairly typical of other systems. You know, if we did our, changed it 10 times, so.
So you said you were in, you built a four-tiered thing.
Yep. All right, so I think I went up by 10%. That was on the first one. Anyway, so, so if you did 0, so just to explain how the structure works, because some people get confused and they completely figure it different, but, so 0, your first 3,000 cubic feet, so I went up to 363 on that.
Okay.
So that was a 10% increase on the lower one.
Yep.
So 0 through 3,000. So with that, so the 0 through 3,000 is 363 per 100 cubic feet.
Yep.
So for your first 30 units, it's 363 per. So then, let's see, so that comes out to 108.90. And then if you did from 3,001 cubic feet to 5,000 cubic feet, I went to $4. That was, I kind of went with what was similar to other towns on their steps
Yep.
and their rates on those steps. So
That
did
was at what,
$4?
$4 even?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's per the 100. So that would be for your first 3,000, it was 363, which comes out to $108.90. And then for that the second tier of 3,001 to 5,000, it's
Yeah.
$4. So it's only on that 2,000 cubic feet difference. So if you were 3,100 cubic feet, you'd be the 108.90 plus $4. Do you see what I'm saying? So just because you get into the 3,100 doesn't mean that all of it goes to $4. It's only what's over the 3,000.
I gotcha.
So you understand that? Because some people think, oh man, now I get into the 31, now I got to pay $4 for all of it instead of the 363.
And Munis can do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So people get confused on how that tier works.
Right,
though. They
yeah.
think that, oh no,
Okay.
once I hit that, now I'm into it for all of it.
So-
No, it's just that portion that you had over.
Just the portion that you go over.
Right.
So it's just to kind of give that incentive to keep it down below that number.
Okay.
So then for the 5,001 to 10,000, it was $6. And greater than 10,000 was $10. So if you went with those numbers
I'm sorry,
exact,
oh, 10,000, over 10,000 is what?
was $10 a 100 cubic feet. So with those numbers, it generates an additional $139,904.52.
I'm sorry, 139,400.
904.52. So it's really geared to hit the people that are using that higher volume. Unfortunately, some of the biggest users are the school. So the school would get hammered on this at those rates. I mean, like their bill, if it was, let's see, on one of the 6-month billing periods last year, their bill was $7,774.80. With the new rate, it'd be $23,049. So a difference of $15,000 more. So it's like 3 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but I also go up there and see the sprinklers running in the rain,
Right.
the sprinklers watering the driveway. You know, probably at least 80% of that water is wasted doing
Well, we've had a
irrigation.
problem with that for years, with that.
We
wasting
have,
water up there.
and, you know, if it doesn't cost anything, then why do they care if they waste the water?
Right.
And that's, you know, 235,600 cubic feet that the school used. Is that the school? I think that is the school. Yeah, it is the school. So that's 235,600 cubic feet that they use. So that's essentially 55 houses that we could add to the system if they weren't using that water. So 55 houses with the base fees of whatever we established there.
There's really no need in using all that water either. I mean, they don't,
And that's, you know,
like you say, the sprinklers run in the rain and everything else.
right, but, so the theory behind the tiered thing is, usually people that are using those high volume, anything over 10,000, it's companies that are making money, or businesses that are,
Right.
you know, it's a cost of doing business, but like the pot farm, if they're using 107,000 cubic feet, you know, how many houses could we put on that? That would be bringing in the base fees and the connection fees
Right.
and the, you know, adding to the infrastructures and everything else. I mean, that's probably more than all of North Brown would bring in. And North Brown on connection fees alone is going to bring in almost $1 million. So you're really gearing it towards those bigger things, the bigger companies, the bigger places that tend to be more wasteful and not conserving as they should be. So that's the theory behind that. But it really, let me see, so let me try to,
We don't have that many customers at that.
that's what I was going to say.
Volume
Let me,
like
I have a list here.
how many we have over 10,000?
Just gotta-
Let's see. $120 divided by 260?
70. 6. $80, $81.
Well, you got 80, but divided by 2, so it's really 40 customers, because that's 2 billing cycles. You have, Is that her full?
Yeah, I just counted the actual usage.
Right, and that's 2 billings included in that,
I think so.
so divided by 2. So it's 40 customers that get hit over 10,000. 40 out of almost 1,200 and something, almost 1,250 or something, so. You got 40 people using a ton of water, but those are all the bigger, Hayward Landing,
Yeah.
3 Cook Street, the schools, the Noria Energy, whatever that is.
Robert Josie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there. Actually, yeah, he is one. Where the hell are you using that much water, Josie? 15,000 cubic feet? Where the hell is that?
All his apartments are gonna have no toilets moving forward.
Yeah, gonna go waterless.
Yeah, so if you want to use that as an example, I don't know which, it doesn't give me the addresses,
That's a total.
but that's account number 244, whatever that is of yours. So your bill was $495. With the new rates, it would be $989 on that apartment unit. So an additional $493, so you basically doubled.
So these increases, so we went up 10% starting at the 3,000.
Starting at the 100.
I'm sorry, starting at the 0
0
to
to
3,000.
3,000, yep.
We went up 10%. And then these other increases were based on?
They weren't based on a percentage.
Yep.
It's based on just a tiered. So we can change those to dial into whatever number we need for revenue, essentially. So if you...
So that's the other question.
Well,
What's your feeling that we need for revenue? Because I know
unfortunately, I don't think the last 2 budgets are representative of what we need.
no, they're not.
And
No.
so I don't have the number of what we need,
we would-
because
I
last
think-
year, 400,000 got cut out after we'd already cut it down, so.
Yep.
So it's difficult, and that's the problem with,
So at these rates, because we've got an additional,
25,500 on sewer,
yeah, then another 38,000.
38,000 on water. So, right now, based on, what the hell did I do the other one? That's right. I mean, if you guys tell me, I put the wrong number in there. If you want to just, we can sit here and play around with numbers if you want, and I can tell you what they'll generate, what it'll result in for additional revenue. And on the sewer, like I said, I don't know if you want to go with that 4-tier structure, or if you just want to break it down to like 2 tiers.
Well, I was originally thinking, at the end of last meeting, and sort of banging it around in my head at the end of last meeting, I was originally thinking 2 tiers.
On both water and sewer, or just sewer?
Well, I was thinking primarily water. To be honest, I hadn't put much thought into sewer, but I would think that it would mirror.
Well, I would think that, see, I don't think 2 is good on the water.
Yeah.
On
No,
the
it don't
sewer, I
seem-
can
no.
justify it more, just because, like I said, you don't have those different sizes
Yeah.
to justify your
Yeah.
base fees and, whatever. But like I said, everyone always says the sewer costs more, the sewer's a losing battle, whatever. So you could probably charge more for the sewer, like that, you could probably combine the 2, like I've got 4, you could combine the top 2 and the bottom 2 on the sewer,
Yeah.
to just kind of give you a base fee for those.
Well, the 4-tier on the water seems to be, you think 2-tiered?
Well, I was originally thinking 2
Right, so let me
tiered originally.
Let me explain the reason. The reason behind doing more tiers
Yeah.
is that lower bracket, you have the elderly fixed income that are always conservative, they take it easy, they watch what they're
Yeah.
using. And then you've got that next one to catch some of those that aren't quite as conservative, they're using some, so you don't want to penalize them too much.
Yeah.
So you add some. But then you've got that third tier, which is a lot of the households that are watering their lawns and
Yeah.
you know, they're wasting water where we don't really want to take water that we spend all kinds of money and effort to treat and do what we need to. I mean, if they want something for water and lawn, you know, have someone come in and put you in a well that you don't care if it's drinkable or not, it's just to water your lawn. So breaking down the tiers kind of gets it so that people can take that little extra effort to keep below that other tier. But if you only have 2 tiers, then you're either, to get that structure, to get the additional revenue, you know, you're good from, you know, the little person conserving isn't getting any benefit over the person that's using up to 5,000. You know what I mean?
It kind of makes sense to me to go to 4 tier on that.
For the water,
For the
like I
water.
said, 4 tier on the water and 2 tier on the sewer, or 4 tier on the sewer, I don't care which way you do it. You know, it's just a matter of breaking the numbers down. So, like I said, I mean, if you want to go a smaller differential between the tiers, like the 0 through 3,000, if it's 363, and I got from 3,000 to 5,000, if you want to bring that 4 closer to the 363, or if you want to drop the
Well, I'm just,
over 10,
yeah, I'm working on that now.
are you trying to figure out numbers? Because like I said, I've got it in here, and I can punch the number, and it'll give you a bottom line, what it changes the rates or the revenue.
I don't know if this will accomplish the number that we're looking for.
Right, unfortunately,
If you went up 10% on each tier, so tier 1, you know, you, like you said, you went up 10% to 363. And then the tier 2, you went up 10%, so 396, so you're in the ballpark with that $4. Then another 10% for the next tier, 429. And then that 4th tier, another 10% to 462.
yeah, I don't know if you did your numbers right.
I probably didn't.
So when I went 10%,
Were you going 10% on each number?
so 10% as you go up.
Yeah.
So if you go up 10% on each one, it's 363, 399, 439, and 483. But that's such a minimal increase when you get up to those higher ones. The higher ones are the ones that you want to,
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, if you've got the pot farm using what we could be selling to 55 other houses, then, you know, they're using all that water, making tons of money
Yeah.
on their product based on a low water rate. So now you're really, I mean, the additional revenue you're getting from those, I mean, you just dropped it from, what I had was what, 139,000, I think I said?
Yeah.
Now you're down to $57,000 increase. So
Yeah.
in order to generate that additional revenue, you're going to have to hit the lower people as well.
Yeah.
And if you're only going 10% up on each of those tiers, I mean, I don't see any of the tiered structures. If you look around at all the other towns around that do the tiers,
Yeah.
they don't have them anywhere near this close. Like I said, most of them that I've seen over the 10,000 is over $10. Do you still have Dudley and, what was it?
Yeah, I was coming through it and I couldn't find, I had the page I was looking for and
Yeah.
I lost it. Yeah, they went 325, 425, 525. No, I'm sorry, they went 335, 502, and then 1004.
Right, so they did a 3-tier.
Yep.
What were their breakpoints?
It didn't say.
So one of the other problems is when you're trying to compare these to other towns,
Yeah,
is that you're basing they're, you know, they've got their base tiers of, say, 0 to 3,000, 3,000 to 5,000, and 5,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
Or, you know, 3 to,
But you don't know how many customers they have at that.
well, no, the problem is that they're billing quarterly,
Yeah.
so essentially, people aren't getting up to those higher numbers because they're getting billed in half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you try to factor that in, it gets real confusing to try to make it comparable
Yeah.
to other towns.
Right.
So you just kind of pick a structure that works and then
Yeah.
figure out what effect you would have. So, let's see. So I mean, at the At the 3,000 cubic feet usage, well, based on the new rates that you just gave me, which is the same, so up to the 3,000, it's $9.90 more than the previous rates.
Yeah.
So that's what we have right now. So if you went to the 5,000, so at $5,000 with the rates that you just proposed, it's only $23.76 more. And what did I say I had that originally? I think I said 4, 6,
$4.
and 10, right?
Yeah. 4, 6, and 10. Yeah.
Actually, that was almost what you had anyway, right?
Yeah, it's just about what I had. You corrected my math at 399, so you were, so I think the bottom half, we're in the ballpark. The
Yeah.
top half, I've got that 3 and 4, I just got some concerns about it.
So anyway, at the 5,000, with the $4, it's $23.90 more for their bill.
Yeah.
It was 165 and it went to 188, which I don't think is.
Yeah.
No, it's not outrageous.
So with the tiered structure, you're not affecting, and that is almost 1,000 of your customers.
Yeah. And like I said, that's, I think I'm on board with that tier 1 and tier 2.
Tier 1 and 2.
Going to 363 and then the 399 or $4.
So then, from the 5,000 to the 10,000, so at 10,000, the bill was $3.30, and that gets it to $4.08, so $78.90 more. So what percent that is? Let's see. It's a 24% increase. And then your top tiers, so anything over the 10,000. So this is where it doesn't, you know, with your top tier, it's not as bad for the schools and stuff, but you're not increasing your revenue as much as you need to.
Yeah.
You know, because it's only, you know, their bill's $7,700 and the increase is $3,500. So,
What's the percentage of the increase for tier 4? What's that percent?
well, that was still based on your 10%.
But at your
Right.
number, you're $10.
So, oh,
That's,
$10. Well, what do you want to leave? Because it's going to change all my numbers because it calculates the first 3 tiers. So what did you want to leave the 5 to 10,000 at?
if we do the 5 to 10,000 at,
I mean, there's, I think, very few single-family residential houses that are at the 5 to 10,000.
yeah,
So anything above that is income property, multifamilies,
the grass lot.
yeah. Whoa. Wow, I just, my hand slipped when I was doing my numbers. And we just increased our revenue by a whole bunch. It went up to $12 million additional. I don't know what I hit, but I just changed the greater than 10,000 to $1,000 cubic foot. So what do you say on the 5,000 to 10,000?
What if that jump goes, so what, 10%?
So 10% and 10% on the first two tiers.
And then from there, say you go 20%, what's that number?
480.
And then 20% of that,
So
so on tier 4, another 20% on that. No. I'm trying to think of how I want to do it. 10, 20.
I mean, you got to consider that
Yeah,
Doug was saying we needed a raise by 49% across the board.
yeah, no, that's,
So to make it not affect all the lower people, you need to step it up on the higher end,
Yeah.
so. I mean, I would have to see what we proposed for the budget. What we proposed at town meeting, how much we had coming out of retained earnings essentially is what you want to look at.
yeah.
But I still disagree with the budgets both last year and this year, but. Let's see. Where would I find that? Waiting for my email to come up, see if I can find that. Can't find the draft warrant. Did you guys get the warrant this year? We haven't got that yet.
I haven't been in the mail yet, no.
Not this weekend?
Oh, yeah, the election's tomorrow. And Saturday's the meeting.
I can't find the annual town meeting for some reason. All right.
What if we keep it, just reworking some of this, so we keep the 363, we keep the 4, and we keep the 6.
All right, so we got 298 coming out of retained earnings, just so you know.
298
298,000.
this year? Okay.
All right, what do you want to do?
So we keep the 363, we keep the $4 and the $6, and then for the tier 4, if we go to $9 instead of $10.
So 363, 4,
6.
6, and 9? 126,902. And that's on the water side.
Okay, so between that and the meter charges,
Yep.
that's an additional 190,402 on the water side.
Say that again?
An additional 190,402. Am I doing that the right way?
I got 126,902 plus 38. So that'd be 160,
Plus how much? 38?
38,000 in the base fee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I added in sewer. If we went to 65.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that one separate.
all right.
'cause we
Yeah,
got-
no, I did
we got
that.
the sewer
Yeah,
fee.
you're right. No, I did that wrong. The 164,902, right?
164, yeah, 902.
Okay. So then for the sewer,
So my sewer numbers are not going to be exact because we had 40 accounts that were still up in the air as to whether they were on sewer or not, because we had to go through every one individually. But rough numbers now, plus or minus 10%. So I went with 821 for the first tier, which, let's see what, I don't know if I did a percentage on that. Yeah, so I went 10% on the first tier. And then, like I said, it's up to you guys on what you want to do percentage-wise, if you want to do 2 tiers, 3 tiers, 4 tiers, if you want to do the 0 through 5,000 at that same, or and then 5 and above, or, like,
All right, so you went 10% on the first tier,
yeah.
and then what'd you do on the second tier?
And I just went to 9, 10, and 12.
How much on a second?
$9, so $8.21 for the first tier, 9 for the second tier, 10 for the third, 12 for the top tier. So with those numbers, it only generates 53,000 additional. So that's no way near the jumps that we're doing on the water.
And that's doing 3 tier on that, on the sewer, you
That's
said?
4 tier as well.
4 tier.
But like I said, we can change that around to whatever you want. As long as we keep those. If you want to combine the first 2 and the second 2, or combine the first 2 and then just do the first 2 and then the second, third. You know what I mean?
What does that come up to then?
If we did it that way, that'd be 36,000 if we kept up to 5,000 at 821. So I think you're probably looking at needing to jump up on the other 2. But it's a matter of how much do you want to jump up, and then you can see, I can pick some out and tell you what the effect at each level would be per customer.
So with those 4 tiers, that only increases how much? 58,000?
Yeah, 53,000. So that's based on 821 for 0 to 3,000, 9 for 3 to 5, 10 for 5 to 10, and then 12 for greater than 10.
If we have 3 tiers, how many customers is tier 1 and tier 2? Do you remember that off the top of your head? We just talked about it. That's more than half, right?
Yeah, it was around 1,000, I think I said. So tier 1 and 2,
Yeah.
so up to 10,000. No, up to 5.
Yeah.
5 8.5 is, yeah, roughly 1,000 customers.
That are affected by it?
Yep. And we only have 1,200 altogether.
So it's to say that would just transfer over to the sewer side, so that's the majority of the customers, same thing on the sewer side. There's only 850.
Right, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's
Yeah.
a smaller
Yeah.
volume, but
So the 821 is 10% up, and then the 910 is,
percentage-wise,
yeah,
hang on, say that again. So
so
8,
tier 1 is 821, and you said that's 10% up from where we are now.
right,
And tier 2,
is 20, almost 20.5%.
That's quite a bit.
And 34% for that 5,000, 8,000. But it's only on that small volume, it's
On that,
not
yeah.
the whole,
it's not the whole thing.
right?
Yeah.
So if you average that out, it's a much less.
Well, and you gotta figure Doug's proposal was 45%,
Right.
Right,
over 45%, almost
Mhm.
45.
That's across the board.
And that's across the board.
Right.
So
So we're doing,
Still,
it's the way I
the
go.
regular households are still,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, what was the $12, what was that percentage?
60.85, so 61%.
how much was it?
61%.
61?
Yeah, and that over 10,000 category.
Yeah.
Like I said, anybody in that over 10,000 is using a lot of water. It's not households, it's
Right.
not, you know. It's all commercial, industrial. The only one that's painful there is the schools, because that's part of the town, so.
Right.
So 217,902 increase to the budget,
Say that again?
combined with water and sewer, to an increase in 217,902. Because you said with these 4-tiered sewer rates, the increase is $53,000, right?
53, yeah.
Do you feel that's a number that helps us
That gets
better
us,
meet our budget?
gets us much closer to where we need to be, yeah. Because, I mean, some of that 298,000 is capital projects.
Yeah.
But I think that we've got a lot of capital projects that,
Well, we've got, yes, and as the phrase is on the news, we have some aging infrastructure.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
we may have some help coming along with that.
yeah.
Some of the proposed business that we've discussed, the development, that'll take care of a good area of
Yeah,
upgrades that we need to do.
yeah,
We've got potentially some other infrastructure stuff that could be getting done,
yeah.
which would take care of another good portion of
Yeah.
hopefully what we need done.
Right.
And then it's a lot of these smaller side stuff. I still think it's a good idea to consider looking at hiring a crew of like 3 people, get a dump truck and an excavator, not a giant excavator, something sized right to do water main, and just start replacing some of these smaller things. I mean, yeah, we did Cemetery Street, and it's great that we saved a ton of money doing it ourselves, but it took us frickin' 2 months and tied up highway and water sewer for all that time while we're jumping in and out trying to do our other stuff. But if you had a dedicated crew,
Yeah, it would have been a few days.
it would have been, you know, maybe 2 weeks worth of work, if that. I mean, it would have been a week to do one section and then probably another week to do the other section, so. But we've got a lot of those little roads on the sides. That's all that stuff. If we can just replace out sections like that. If you had a crew dedicated to it, and you had a setup for system bypasses so you can run off the houses. I think if we can get the big trunk line done through some funding in MassWorks or whatever, to get from basically all of Main Street. Go from Franklin, Franklin that way's done, except for the Northeast Main, which should get done if this project goes through. So that'll be all the way to that end, from the Uxbridge line, all the way to Franklin Street's done. If we can get Franklin Street down to Camp Meeting, that's that entire trunk line, that's our main artery for everything,
Right.
would be done.
Yeah, because that's got a lot of patches on it. That's
Oh, yeah, we've had 12 breaks on Main
Yeah,
Street.
quite a few.
Yeah.
So if we can get that section done, and that's our main artery for all your big stuff, around Glen Street's all new ductile, so that part's covered, from directional roads in this town, trying to create Southwest Street,
Yeah.
Southwest Main all the way down, that's all ductile. So if we can get from Camp Meeting to Franklin done, that'll take care of the main artery, and then I would say Church Street and up Northeast Main, replace what's there, and then get connected to what we installed on
Yeah.
Northeast Main. That would kind of cover the main
Yeah.
artery for everything.
Yeah, then we got some other stuff, probably like North Street. I think that's
Yeah, North Street would be the next big one.
obvious. And then there's some
Right.
stuff on the 20-year plan. I think Martin Road was on the 20-year plan, the master plan originally.
Yeah. Yeah, Martin needs to be done, Depot needs to be done. I gotta look into what's on Railroad. But I mean, all of Brookside is all ductile,
Yeah.
so, Davis, or Depot up, so Depot, Martin, and Railroad, and that would fix that end of town.
Yeah.
Because anytime anyone's using water, it always
Yeah,
messes
I know it.
messes up Depot and Martin every time.
He
So
flushes
that's,
the toilet in here and I got rusty water.
Yeah.
yeah, so I would say those would be kind of next on my priority hit list. But like Martin, it's not a major busy road, and if we can get bypasses set up, they could do sections of Martin
Yeah.
and just move the bypass up as you go.
Too
And,
bad there wasn't a way to loop that over to
That's what I was gonna say is,
Depot.
what I would like to do is come up and either come over and come through that right of way
Yeah.
that comes down through the top of Depot, on Maple. And that would loop that, and that would make a huge difference right there. I'd almost say go down Maple, but to get to the tank. But
Yeah.
you really don't need to. You can come out, come over and down to the top of Depot. That would help that whole situation tremendously. Because then I could reverse the flow and come down and flush it, and it would flush a lot better, because we're just trying to flush up a hill,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a dead end. So
Yeah.
it's the direction it's already going.
Yeah.
And to flush correctly, you want to flush
Go
the
opposite.
opposite direction and
Yeah.
get it to
Yeah.
change direction. But, like I
There was
said,
even talk, I think, is it in the 20-year plan to even loop Maple down to 16, Maple Monroe?
yeah, I don't think it was on there, that's one of the ones that I've talked
Oh,
about.
maybe that was one of your ideas.
Yeah,
But there's nothing going on over there in that section right now, so,
well, there's some discussions, but,
North Street stuff.
so, I think North Street will come into play when something happens with the pine, sand, and gravel
Right.
and Vecchione's property up there.
Yeah.
Because you'll have to go up north and loop down through over to Gilboa, and that will, so that wouldn't be my primary focus. I'd be more concerned with Depot and Martin than I am with North Street right now. They already took care of the issue putting in that cistern for the development up there. So anything beyond that, we'll be looking at a tank,
Tank.
new pipe tank, and looping down to Gilboa at that point. If anything happens with the property up at the top of Caswell,
That's true.
there's discussion of that. So at that point, I would want new main from the bridge on Manchog Mechanic, all the way up Caswell, and then loop that into Pond Street. So that should be on whatever project goes up there. So that would resolve that issue. But like I said, so if you get that issue, North Street, and the Main Street project, then it's a lot of little side stuff that, you know, if we had a crew, they could work that and not cause too much disruption. But I think you could save millions if we did it in-house. And if you had a crew doing that, you could essentially get all the pipe that we need replaced in town, and the system would be all ductile iron, and you'd have no issues for your infrastructure, for your water anyway. The only infrastructure you'd be doing on water is expansion. You know, you'd have all your infrastructure set up and up to date, and it'd be good for the next 150, 200 years. But I think if you did it that way and you hired a crew, like I said, a 3-man crew, you get a mini excavator, or not a mini, something in between, not a giant thing, but, you know, you could bang all that out for a third of the cost and get it all done. And it's just, all right, now, you know, we can move on and do it for another time.
Yeah.
All right, you want to put together a final thing with what we've discussed tonight?
So with the numbers we just came up with, so the 65 for the base on sewer, the tiered structure for the base on water,
Yep.
the tiers at 363, 4, 6, and 9 on water.
That's sewer.
No, that was water.
Oh, water, okay, yeah.
So sewer was 821, 9, 10, and 12. I'm just verifying those are the numbers that we ended with.
Yeah, 363, 4, 6.
And you dropped it down to 9 on that high end. And then the sewer, were you good on that? 821, 9, 10, and 12?
10 and 12,
All right, so I got all these numbers here and set. What I'll do is, I just gotta finalize the numbers with Lee tomorrow as to who's included on the sewer.
Yep.
Well, I know she was like the last 40 and she had to leave, so.
Yep.
I'll try to get her to finish that tomorrow. I'll plug the new numbers in to make sure they're there. I can email you guys and let you know what that resulted in. And then, I mean, I can send you this spreadsheet. I'll highlight the areas that you can play in.
Why don't you, no, instead of,
I'll say, because I got numbers that are linked to all over.
yeah,
the place in
no,
this.
instead of doing that, because I'm going to tell you right now, I get into an Excel spreadsheet, by the time I'm done, it'll be a Word document, so me and that program don't have the best relationship. So if you want to send it to us as a read-only,
Yeah.
you can't mess with it,
I can do it as a,
or lock it up,
I can do it as a PDF.
yeah. That would be
Or I can
better for me anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, I can, basically, if I just give you this summary sheet, it will give you all the information you need. But I was just saying on the, I can print you, but it's a lot of pages. I want to say it's like
Yeah, no,
60 or 70 pages, but you'd be able to go through, I could probably save that as a PDF too, but you could go through line item by line item and see each customer and what effect it would have on that level of the bill.
oh,
It
that's
doesn't
the way
have-
you have that set up?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I've got it right now. I could tell you how much each bill goes up,
Yeah,
but it's 2,400 lines,
yeah, no, that's.
so.
Yeah, you don't want to print that. Just this, and maybe one example, a regular, because what's the average household, 4,600,
4,300.
4,300?
We could run the numbers and see what the actual average in this town is. I mean, what,
No, just
What-
the industry standard is fine, that's the 4,300 is the industry standard,
Right.
so if you gave us the,
so for 4,300, the water bill goes up $19.
Yep.
And the sewer bill goes up
actually, you know what, I have a better idea. For each
$42.52.
tier
So up to 3,000,
So for the high end of each tier.
so
for-
3,000, 5,000,
Yeah.
and 10,000. You want to see what?
See,
What the
see
effect
what
is.
what the effect is. And then a section for each, the water and what the 4 tiers are, the sewer, what the 4 tiers are. And then the high end of each of those tiers, what
Actually,
that
no,
bill would be.
I think I already have that. I have that in that one sheet,
Yeah.
so,
And then send that to the 403 list.
yeah, so at 0 to 3,000, it's $108.09. 5,000, up to, so 5,000 would be 188.90, 10,000 would be 488.90. So I just need to throw in here what the old bill would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could have that comparison, that would be,
Yeah. So
That would
I-
be a mess.
I have that in each of these already.
yep,
I just don't have the comparative number, that's all.
yep,
So I can throw that in there as well.
yep. That would be great.
All right. Yeah, so this one sheet gives you basically what the bill will be at the top of each of those tiers, what the total revenue generated from those rates are, both water and sewer, and then the revenue generated by the meter changes, sizes. All right, I got all that on one sheet so you can have a good summary. All right. Save that. All right. And then once this spreadsheet's established, it's easy enough to take the numbers, put them in there, and then, if we go through and we set next year's budget correctly, and we say, all right, we're short by X amount of dollars, we can throw numbers in and get it to exactly that number, and say that's what rates need to go up by. But like I said, I mean, if we had raised rates along the way we should have, that would have been, like I said, $300,000
Yep.
that we'd have in the bank that,
Yep.
And that 300,000 is essentially what we've depleted out of our retained earnings,
Yeah.
because we haven't had,
Yeah.
had the revenue there to cover it. All right, I will put those together, get those out to you this week.
And then what do you want to do? You want to plan to meet again in 2 weeks?
I'm going to be out next week.
Yep.
Probably take the computer with me so I can work all out, but,
You'll be out next week?
yeah.
Yeah, you probably will, yeah. I'm leaving Sunday too for 3 or 4 days, so I'll do it after that.
Where you going, Michigan?
Nah, go down to the vineyard.
All right, so I will, let's see, I mean, all the numbers are pretty much plugged in, I just need to add
Yep.
what the old rates at those 3 tiers would be, or 4 tiers. There's no top on the greater than 10,000 though, so,
Just, so figure 10 for that one, I guess.
yeah, so I have it I already have the ones up to 10, but I don't know if you want me to go
Well,
up
maybe,
to,
why don't you
go
do
up to
whoever
whatever
our
the
highest customer is?
highest customer, the school,
Yep.
between the school and the pot farm.
Yeah, yeah,
So, school, pot farm, and Haywood, those are our 3 biggest.
yeah.
So I'll pick the highest and show you what the
Yeah.
effect on that one is.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the agenda? Old business, new business? No. All right. So I'm good. So you guys need to make a motion and all that stuff to close.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 5:09.
Yep.
All in favor? I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.